anytime if we hello everyone.
Woohoo! Whoop whoop! And hello there. My name is Bradley Powers, and I'd like to welcome you to a new year, new season, new start, new show. Bradley Powers is presenting Truth Seekers Reloaded. Haha! Yes, you come back for more. And we have I'm a mystic and spiritual advisor, and we have my co-host Christopher Dunham is in the house. Hi there, Christopher.
Hello, hello. How you doing? How you doing, Mike?
Very well, Chris.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that we'll have a good show tonight. You know, we're going to really try to do witchy things, shamanic things, and see where we can go from there.
Yeah,
So-
Shaman.
So
And
Mike,
we have a special guest, Mike Perry, is in the house. Hi there, Mike.
Hi guys.
Thank you for joining.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. And guys, I can't wait to get into this. It's going to be so fun. One of the fundamental things that everything has in common is energy.
Yeah.
I love that.
Hey, Mike, do you see yourself as a witch or a shaman or both?
Both.
Very good question.
One of the
That's the way I see my path. It's both, very shamanic and at the same time very witchy, because dealing with titans and also with goddesses, there's that leeway, and plus being part of the earth. Do you do a lot of earth magic? What I would call earth
that was
magic?
actually my first the first thing that I learned on my shamanic path was nature magic or earth magic.
Wow, that sounds interesting. So, could you elaborate without breaking your oaths or any of your oaths?
Some. So basically, guys, the thing that's been most prevalent in my life is learning balance. And that is the path of shamanism is all about being in balance and in tune with everything. There's a term floating around online called ominist, which is the belief that there is truth in everything. And that really struck a chord, especially in shamanic roots. And working with nature, elemental and nature and earth magic, it's all about taking the ethers, the elements from the ethers, bringing them into the physical and grounding them into the earth for practical purposes in every area of life. It's really, truly amazing. And now we actually have the technology. Chris, what do you think about this, man? And Bradley, too. I'm interested in both your guys' thoughts. Now we have the technology to actually see the energies that our ancestors would deem magic. And as we create that awareness, we're becoming more aware of that.
I think it's really exciting, actually, because then you could prove truth to who you are, truth to who they are on a scientific scale. That's phenomenal.
That is very cool. I agree with that. How about you, Bradley?
Sorry, what was the question again? You have to excuse me. I'm sharing the show. I'm basically done, I reckon. Just got
No, you're okay. How do you
pressure
think,
me. Come on. What was the question?
what were your thoughts on the fact that we now have technology that allows us to detect this energy that our ancestors called magic?
Yeah, that's right. Magic, that's right. Magic is real. The technology we're using right now is stems from the extraterrestrials. And some say that the shadow government trades human lives for technology in return for technology with the talker race and the reptilians as well. But that's what some say anyway. Conspiracy theory, maybe.
And guys, this is a really cool experience that I had with exactly what Bradley was just talking about. And Mount Moriah in Ohio, Mount Moriah, that mountain is associated with all kinds of paranormal activity, ET activity, cryptoid. Like if there's something strange going on around the area, it has something tied to that mountain somehow. me and a group of friends went up there to meet extraterrestrials. And what we did is we gathered around in a circle and did a drumming ceremony and put everyone into a meditative trance state where we were able to telepathically communicate with ETs, Greys. They look very similar to what we see on the shows. If you guys ever seen Stargate, very similar to that.
Yeah.
Wow, very fascinating.
It was, man. It was so cool. And granted, it did weird me out because there were a couple people that had tinfoil hats on, and like I was trying really hard not to judge, but I'm like, that's pretty astute. But later on in my studies, oh, go ahead, man.
Did they have the experience with you? The same exact experience?
We all had the experience of walking or being aboard a ship, and we had the experience of talking to an ET. But what was said was individual. Like we were taught, everyone was talking to their own individual being, which was pretty cool. There were some similarities where some people decided they wanted to talk about quantum physics, and so a lot of people were talking about money and manifestation and how energy works. That has always been a big theme.
Wow.
And that is honestly where I learned a lot about the stability of energy itself and how when we project energy, we let the instability in, the doubt, the fear, the worry, whatever says that we're not enough to be able to hold the pattern or the idea of what it is that we want to do. We get too distracted.
Yeah. Wow. That's really cool. It is really cool. So
go ahead.
I was going to say, go ahead and finish your sentence. I kind of cut you off with my oh wow moment here. I'm sorry.
I was just going to ask you if you've ever had any ET experiences.
No, I can't honestly say that I have. I have seen unidentified flying objects, whatever they call them today, But have I actually had an experience with what we would call alien? No. I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum now. If you would ask me, have you had an experience with a god or goddess? Yeah. And a lot of people don't realize that in order for us to have these experiences like with extraterrestrial or gods or goddesses, we have to build up a rapport and an alignment. And a lot of people, they miss that, in their spiritual path. They're so quick to say, I'm following so-and-so goddess. Well, how long have you been with this goddess? Seriously, a lot of people have these problems of, I'm following this God, this is my God, and they're just picking it out of a book, which is, to me, wrong. It took me years and years to build these alignments up.
Absolutely.
A lot of people, they just kind of pick it out of the air. Let's smoke some more dope and pick it out of the air. Use my terminology, but that's why I see today's craft. We got to pick it out of the air. We don't have no lineage, no nothing. We're just going to pick it out of the air. And it came up with my.
Sorry.
What did you say?
Benny C. says, hello, guys. 3 wise men.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Benny. I don't know about the wise, but we're here.
Yeah.
All I know is I know nothing.
Yeah.
That's right.
When I was
younger,
I read all these books, when I was, to a point where I needed books to understand the eclectics, come from a traditional background to the eclectics. I was lost all over the road, and now I'm looking inward, like, wow, this is so beautiful. Each one of us on our path, and to have all these experiences. I don't know if I would want to have an experience with the extraterrestrial. But then again, the corner of my mind is, who are they? Are they spiritual beings, or are they here the right hand of God going to smack us down, or what are they doing here? That's my big question. That is my big question.
And that was mine too, man. That I wanted answered before I would interact with any of them. And what I was told in answer of that is that yes, that the particular race that we were communicating with was here to help us. And mainly, originally, they weren't supposed to. They were just going to leave us to unfold and let our natural evolution take its path. But because we had the technology via the atom bomb, and if we were to continue exploring that, we would discover the means to rip a hole in the very fabric of the universe itself. We discovered powerful technologies that would affect all of life in the cosmos. So collectively, they agreed to come in and help guide us in the proper use of that technology. And I think it's so fascinating too, now that we are able to have some guidance on how we can actually bring in new technology, new energy that's never been before in this area, in this field of consciousness, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, yeah. I hope that they give us guidance, because the people that they have appointed to control these things, they're a little scary. I fear them almost as much as I do God. Seriously,
And they
forever
got,
winter. Think about it. What happens when a bunch of nuclear bombs go off? Forever winter.
yeah.
We'll have that time and period of ice age again.
And in that,
So
oh, go ahead,
yeah,
see what you got.
yeah. So I'm going to go with this. Mike Perry, Shaman Mike Perry. What exactly is a shaman? What does it mean to be a shaman? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Good thing.
Is it a choice or a condition?
A little bit of both. Walking my path, to answer your first question, shamans always support life. That is the whole purpose of being a shaman, is to support life and uplift your tribe however you can. Be it that's healing, drumming, ceremony. One of the most important aspects of shamanism is being a storyteller and maintaining the stories of the tribe. And studying my energetics in my human design chart, I am the only channel that I have, the consistent energy flow that I have within my body is that of a storyteller. So shaman was something that naturally just came to me. Being in balance and in tune with the environment was something that I needed. So pathological wise, being when I was born into a dysfunctional family and given the labels of manic depressant, bipolar, all of that. Even my grandfather died in an institution. He was schizophrenic. And I've learned how to break those generational patterns through my practices. That's one of the gifts of being a shaman. So, in that, when I break a generational pattern, I heal my entire lineage, my whole family line, the ones that came before me. And in return, I am given the gifts of my ancestors. All of our power, all of our understanding lies at the root because our energy is made of the ancestors that came before us. When we harness that energy, we are able to give it to the ones that are going to precede us.
I call that calling of the blood.
Yeah.
Where your ancestors come through your living being and help you and aid you in your magic.
Shortly after I discovered the path of shamanism, I got called to blood magic. That was the next set of magic that I studied after earth magic. And it was very interesting working with blood magic. Have you ever worked with it?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
One of the things, my ex-girlfriend, we dated before previously when we were younger, and her and I practiced blood magic together one time, and I didn't realize how strong of a bond that creates. But it was very interesting having the awareness that I do now. When I went through that relationship, I did a past life journey to discover our connections that we had that were unconscious. And she killed me in a past life it was a shot or a chieftain of a tribe. but she killed me because I betrayed her by getting the maid pregnant. But she was unable to bear children, and being the leader of the tribe, I needed an heir.
Wow, that's really fascinating. One of my past lives, I was associated with a wounded knee, and that I lost my life because I hesitated in my actions to defend the tribe. You know, more or less, musket ball got me and killed me. I have no recollection of that. Something that somebody told me during a, a psychic, talking to me and stuff like that. Oh, you're this and that. She made an association with the Radia, with with Christ and all that, and I was like, well, maybe that's true. You know.
That's very cool. Do you have any physical spot on your body, like a mole or a birthmark?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, right
I
up
have.
here, right up near my nippy.
I got one on my inner thigh, and I was told once that by a psychic that I took an arrow there that hit my carotid and I bled out. And then for a period of time, I was teaching meditation in Ohio, and I got connected with a hypnotherapist, and we did I don't know, we did like hundreds of past life regressions. That's how everybody. It's what everybody seemed to want at the time. So that's what we focused on. But I went through to actually that lifetime when I took that arrow.
Wow,
I
that's
was defending a I was defending the tribe.
yeah, yeah. That happens, man. You
Right.
know, past lives. It's like I have this big fear of fire and water. Well, I know what the fire's from. You know,
Yeah.
so, because I was condemned as a witch, which was probably true. I can't keep my mouth shut about nothing. Unless I'm oath bound to it. Sworn to secrecy. But
Exactly.
but yeah, past lives they pay relevance to who we are today, and a lot of people don't realize that. You know.
I attest to that. This is a really cool and interesting story. Me and my ex, we were still kind of are friends with a lot of people in Salem, Massachusetts,
Mm-hmm.
and her grandparents lived out in Holyoke, or not Holyoke, somewhere over close to Salem. We were visiting them for Thanksgiving one year, and we decided to take a day trip. I stood at the spot where Sarah Good and all the others are buried. They basically just dug a giant pit and threw all the bodies in.
Yeah.
And what most people don't know about Salem is that where that actually happened isn't in the town where all the shops are and the touristry stuff. Where that happened is where the private houses are. And they don't really like people over there around the private houses. Which,
Over near Danvers, I think is where it's located,
nah,
if I remember right.
when I got home from the trip, my dad was coming up to visit me from Florida. He brought me a book of my aunt did a bunch of genealogy research. My eighth generation grandmother is Sarah Good.
Really?
Uh,
Wow.
that made me a genial witch.
My daughter was doing our genealogy, and we found out that Elizabeth Howe is related to us. Should be like my great 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 something, another grandmother, something like that, which I find quite fascinating.
I did too. He gave me I got a little notebook of all the research she did, and when he handed me that book, I felt so much anger and pain. I couldn't even hold on to it. I had to drop it.
I felt sad, for all those people who were falsely accused, and most of those people were not witches.
No,
I had to be very sympathetic to all these people that were condemned to die because of what I would call irrational, immoral condemnation of life. You
makes
know, property grabs, what I see a lot of it as. I don't agree with you, so I'm going to go ahead and kill you. And hey, while I'm at it, I'm going to buy your property up underneath you while you're in jail and you can't afford nothing.
that's what happened to Sarah.
Yeah.
She was
Oh, yeah.
the second family to settle in Salem. a cholera epidemic wiped out all of her brothers, leaving her the sole heir. A priestess I have found out through her. I've been a Roman visitor or warrior, a priestess in Asia. I was a druid fairy, among other things. Very awesome, Kim. Thanks for
Yeah,
commenting.
that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
That
Yeah,
was very awesome.
very beautiful.
Mm.
But yeah, you know, um, before I found out about this lineage thing, um, I, I had somebody do a tarot card before we left Iowa to go out to Colorado. And this one was telling me all this stuff, and I'm sitting there, you know, how can I put it? Some of these people I know, but I don't know. Through working with the community, I didn't
Right.
know whether to believe it or not. But when Amber sat there and brought light to this, I'm like, oh wow, this girl is right on the money. Because as soon as she said that, the association, of that tarot was like, wow, wow.
To you. Very cool. I
But yeah,
find that
go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
the very first psychic reading I ever had, actually, wasn't even looking for one. I just turned 18 and went to my first psychic festival, and I'm walking through just checking different stuff out, and this lady grabs me, says, you need to hear this. Sit down." Put me in the chair, and she says, "Your ancestors are very worried about you." Because at the time, I was very deep into black magic mixed with blood magic. I was working with a lot of demons. And I'm like, "I'm just curious. I'm not really looking to do anything bad." And that's when she first told me about being a genealogical witch and having access to that. She goes, it's very important that you learn about your genes. And then she asked me to come see her, but that kind of freaked me out. I never did. But for the longest time, for like how it happens to me walking my path, is I become obsessed with something. I was obsessed for about 10 years with my genealogy. Like that's all my free time, all my resources went into studying my genealogy. I was able to trace my ancestor history back to the 1200s, where we came from Spain, and then we integrated to Ireland, and then from Ireland we integrated here into the States, and then I have family from a lot of Celtic, a lot of Celtic, and then a lot of uh, German and
Yeah,
French, and we
yeah.
all came together here. Go ahead.
My genealogy comes from England, Scotland, and Ireland, a little bit of the Welsh area. And I find that quite fascinating because you think that lineage wise, I would go more toward the Hermetic path or more of a Druid path than to Italian shamanism. It's like, wait a minute here, put the brakes on. Why am I following this path? And I think a lot of it is because this is where the gods put me. They put me out. I stick out like a sore thumb a bunch amongst the pagan communities, and I get, they swarm to me like a bunch of moths to a light, and I have to come to grips with that. Why is this?
That's
I
much.
imagine that you go through the same thing, don't you? People are just drawn to you, and you're going, whoa, wait a minute,
Why?
yeah, why?
That's the shaman in me. That is the path. The gift is the path that we walk now. From when I asked my guides that,
Yeah,
and they told me it was because the shaman, when everything happened, when the shamans or the Native Americans were basically being wiped out, they made a great prophecy that there would come a time where the new shamans would come and help create and usher in the new earth. And these
yeah,
new shamans would come from all corners and be a mix of all races. Being a shaman now, I see how my lifetimes, my whole energy and being has went through these different experiences and gathered all this different knowledge and perspectives to blend them together now. And
do
as I
you,
do that, that makes me incredibly bright.
Mike, do you believe that we're in the silver age right now,
Oh
where
yeah.
Because during right before Samhain, I felt a, a rift, like a shift in the cosmos. I physically felt it.
And that's why I find human design so fascinating, why I use it so much. Because in according to the human design, we are going through a transitional period, culminating with a final transition in uh, 2027, I believe. And what that's going to do is allow us to embrace and embody more energy, more of our oversoul and our higher self
Yeah,
than ever before, ever possible. And as we do this, the four, the first ones that take the first steps, because the only way to be an effective leader is to lead by example.
yeah, I
We
believe that.
embody more of that and we become brighter. And as people gather to us, that brightness washes off on them and they're able to understand how to hold that space for themselves.
Do you think us going from the silver age into what I call the golden era is, to me, that's where the old gods come back. All of our gods come back and they live with man, not against man. Do you think it's going to be an easy transition for humanity?
No, it is not. We can already see that. Like, we see that that's evidence everywhere with so much fear and disdain and separation. Like that's one of the things that really any religion really anything that creates separation is a false prophet, is a false thing because there is no separation. There's only unity. Whether we're talking about deities, ETs, it's conscious unity. We are all created from the same source. And
Bless.
whether or not entities choose the path of love or and higher knowledge and cooperation or desperation and fear, we need both of them. We need the opposites so that we can tell them apart. We need them to play the game of separation.
Yeah,
But as we wake up and come into the gold age or what's going around 5D online, we come into the awareness that we are not separate. And whatever we're giving our attention to is a game that we're playing. As we can take back our attention, take back our own energy, we are free to put that energy wherever we would like. We just
yeah,
need to understand if it's something that's beneficial or detrimental to our overall well being.
I agree with that. It's quite fascinating how a lot of us, are who followed the path, feel the shift, but a lot of us are in denial. They think that it's the same thing. It's just something that we just felt because it was Samhain coming up, or some kind of shift. Because the planets were all in line. But those planets are lining up was very important for humanity.
Yes, it was.
Very important. And a lot of us don't see the blessings that are going to come from much suffering. And that's what I'm seeing, prospectively as a witch, is that we must suffer to enjoy the blessings that's coming up. That the chaff
I
is
love
being
that you brought that.
separated from the wheat, and a lot of people don't see it. They're, I don't know, maybe confused. Maybe I'm out of the loop and it's all my imagination, but that's what I'm feeling inside. My heart is telling me a great shift is coming. Don't sit idle. Meditate, pray every day. I don't know
And
how you feel about it, but I've been doing a lot of meditations all the time. You know, truth, live by truth, not
and what
by
are we doing when we do that?
by the truth. Feel it, embrace it.
We also space. We create a space around us of that. And the people that flock to us are that's the very thing that they need.
Yeah,
When we're looking from an energetic standpoint, we're looking for the blueprint. When we hold that blueprint, all they have to do is stand by us and they give it. They'll redawn to your light. People of the same kind attract others the same now more than ever. Brother Scott, we all have a higher purpose, and that too is now more than ever. Absolutely.
yeah, yeah,
Yours?
yeah. I agree with that. You know, We have to stick to our higher truth, how we see things. Like a lot of witches don't understand why I draw alignment with Yahweh or Yeshua. It's because I see a truth in their teachings. It's not that I'm degrading any of us who are what you'd call of secret past, because we're not so much secret anymore. We stick out like a sore thumb, but we keep our inner teachings quiet so that the crazies don't get a hold of it. Those are things that are very important and sacred to us. And I
And
see that the world will see it, but not quick enough because the darkness is coming.
darkness is always here, already here. When I was just thinking about this earlier today. I mean, darkness or void of light is the absence of light. And as people walk through it, embodying their truth and authenticity, they become light. They
Yeah,
create their light bodies.
we all become torchbearers.
Yeah. And walking through that light or through that darkness, we illuminate. And in that illumination, we create brand new awareness that was never created or existed before. Yeah, brother.
Drew says, yeah, brother, I see people who come into the shops and leave with a smile. And that is my mission, to serve them. Yeah. But as a witch spiritual being, it's my duty to help their spirit most of the time.
Bless you. Bless you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for doing that. That's very enlightening. That we're not the only ones, that we bear these torches, and a lot of us don't know why. Is it our life contract with the gods? Maybe. Is it our way of trying to ascend to our goddess? Being torchbearers, teaching, inspiring people to live a good, wholesome life? Probably. But I guess, that's for our inner self to decide who we are, our path.
So when did you discover you was a shaman, Mike?
When I was 17, when I had my awakening after my near-death experience.
Wow.
Yeah. It was shortly after I lost my hand that I found the path. Yeah, it was a transition for me.
Yeah. Most shamans find their path that way through some type of extreme experience.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. It's like I tell people, I'll talk the ears off a wooden Indian. I talk. I have to cut myself off every once in a while.
But I do love.
They're doing good. Doing good, actually.
And, on that,
is
guys,
it true that shamans, Mike? Shamans, like you could tell if you're a shaman, you've got extra bones in your body. Can be one sign. Belly laughing for no reason whatsoever. Belly laughs is another one.
There's
and do you drink that? What's the name of that drink, Mike? Ayahuasca or something that you drink?
Ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca. That's right. Ayahuasca.
I have done my own. I've made my own. I've never been to like all the ceremonies that I've done. I've only ever done on my own, but I have done them, and I'm actually invited to 3 ceremonies this summer. So I'm looking very forward to going to a group ceremony. It's going to be very fun. My first time. But not all shamans partake of that type of medicine. One second, guys, and I'll show you. The most powerful tool for a shaman. Is this right here, a drum.
Yeah.
This drum, I can enter and put myself in any trance state that I want, which is why I study energy. I study the different states that I put myself into so that I can understand how to utilize them more efficiently.
Yeah, the heartbeat's very important.
Yes, it is.
Frequency is a healer. Frequency can heal anything, any ailments that we got. There's a frequency for it that can heal. Frequency can heal cancer. and like other ailments like diabetes and that sort of stuff. Yeah, frequency.
Absolutely. I used that to heal cancer in myself.
And
When
the people who devise machines and all that play these frequencies for people to heal go missing. And their paperwork, all the documentation goes missing with it when they find a cure for cancer using frequencies. And like, yeah, quite a few people have gone missing.
some already have.
And nothing becomes of their work, you know. Is there a cure for cancer? No, we are told. Yeah, frequencies is a cure for cancer. You know, we know that.
Of course, because then it wouldn't make any money. And actually, I went to college for X-ray tech, and the very first day in school, my teacher, told us, if you guys want to get rich, go next door. That's the class for pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
That's where the money's at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really? You got told that at school, did you? Wow.
Yeah, very first day. Didn't even know his name yet.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, Mike, how long did it take you when you first started to actually find your goddess? How long did it take you? Was it like boom, or
no? It was immediate. The lady. So during my experience, I went to hang myself, and at that time, a friend of mine was teaching me astral projection and telepathic communication. And we got really good at it. Her and I were able to telepathically communicate up to 5 miles away. It was a very fascinating time. Which, looking back on that now, was why. Anyway, I'm digressing. So as I put that noose around my neck, she projected into my conscious field where I felt her presence around me so strong. I swear, if I opened my eyes, she would have been standing there. And she just kept telling me not to do this. So I got overwhelmed, took off the noose, and started running down the beach. I was living on Lake Huron, one of the Great Lakes, and there was a full moon on a warm summer night. And as I was running down the beach, I face planted and fell in the sand, and I laughed. Instead of crying or getting even more upset, I just laughed. And the moment that I sat up, something gently took my face and made me turn to the moon. As I turned to the moon, my third eye shot wide open, and I was in a bubble. It looked just something like out of Harry Potter, like Dumbledore put Voldemort in that bubble of water.
Yeah.
And I could see the land and I could see the environment outside, but inside this space, I was just me. And the only thing I could feel was unconditional love emanating from a goddess. She appeared to me in a very beautiful white body. She had the definition of a woman and long hair and a long gown and radiating just pure white light. And she told me, I am the mother. I am the first woman. Give me all of your pain and suffering, and I will leave you with peace. And in that instant, guys, like that, like a light switch, all desire to hurt myself, to do anything so foolish was gone. And after that experience, it was like magic. I stopped eating meat and I started eating dark leafy greens. I started going out in the woods and meditating every day. I'd go to work, I'd come home, I'd go out there and meditate. If it was raining or bad out, weather-wise, I'd go in my room and meditate. I did that for about 18 months. And then during those, I had a whole ton of experience where I met a deer. I was working with the deer energy at the time, and I was making my medicine bag, and I wanted a deer bone. I was meditating in the woods. When I came out of my meditation, there was a deer that was this close to my face sniffing me. And it looked me in the eyes and had no anxiety, like no startleness. And then it slowly turned around and started walking. I was told to follow it, so I did. It led me to a clearing where there was a complete deer body from skull to the back hoof, and I got to pick whatever I wanted to put in my bag. And then after I picked my pieces, I buried the rest and said a little prayer over it and thanked it for its service, and went on my merry way. And that was just one of many experiences during that time.
You know, that story is very beautiful. Transformation. Holy cow. You know, when I came to the path, we was initiated, which represented rebirth for me and Chrissy and those who were with us. And then there was a wedding. and was at a bar, and one of the people who was with us, he had a blood clot break loose from it on him, and put him in the hospital, killed him, and we're all in the waiting room, and we're sitting there, I'm fresh, new initiate, not even 24 hours, we're sitting there celebrating all this, the celebration. We had this person die on us. And I remember going home and being distraught, casting a circle and reaching out. She moonstruck me that night. I would never, ever trade that experience. Because then I knew my lifelong chase for God is real. Real. She is real.
That's very beautiful, brother. Thank you for sharing.
I can relate. After I lost my hand, I didn't want to live no more, But I did find the goddess. And within a short period of time, things were revealed to me. I didn't want to taste death no more. I wanted to live. And after being moonstruck, you can't drink any amount of alcohol. You cannot do any amount of drugs to feel the goddess touch you.
That's correct. That's
A lot
what
of people don't realize that.
my cousin once asked me to describe it to him, and I just looked at him and said, dude, it's the best high I've ever had in my entire life.
I couldn't even describe it, Tears come to my eyes when I try to describe it verbally. Just emotion. God is real.
Thank you, spiritual investigators. That is very true. You are an inspiration, man.
Yeah, Brother Thunder, you're an inspiration and loved by many. Just thought I'd share that with you. From PWI in Spiritual Investigators, Sherry Brett. Thank you for that.
Thank you. I love you too.
That's
A lot of people, they don't realize that if you take time out daily and you work diligently to build rapport with your gods, they will reach out. They will bless you. They will put a fire underneath you and illuminate you. And that magic will happen.
Christopher People says inspiration, the inner breath of spirit. I also say inspiration, the clue's in the word, in spirit-ation, inspiration, message from spirit. Could be your loved one, relations, the dragons, fairies,
Yeah.
angels, message from spirit, inspiration.
I
Yeah.
love. Oh, you guys are so awesome. I love the way you both say that. Very good. Love it.
Mike,
Yeah,
now,
inspiration.
I
Not
got
all
a,
your thoughts are your own, when you are inspired. You could be inspired by those who crossed over.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and like that kind of ties into what we were talking about. How the new technology is. Where does that new innovation come from? Where does the
Exactly.
thought
Yeah.
come from?
Where'd the thought come from? Yeah, that's right.
now, Mike, do
See.
you believe that our path comes from within ourselves and shown outward?
Yeah,
Or do you think it's vice versa, outward to the inward?
both. That is the hermetic law of the macro reflects the micro reflects the macro. Our inner life reflects our outer life.
Yes.
However, our outer life is like, it reflects the inner things that we got going on. And that's why a lot of spiritual traditions, including shamanism, they talk about cultivating your inner garden. And when you have seeds and things of doubt and fear and turmoil inside, you can dig those out, pull them out by the roots. Oh, thank you. I love you too. And as you pull those out by the roots, you understand your generational crap that everyone has, whatever past life that we've come to let go of in this present time-space reality, time-space beingness.
Oh, is that my? Is that me? Is that me?
Yes.
PWI says, and Bradley, you're an inspiration too. Thank you for that. I like shining upon those around me. Absolutely.
And that's why
And like
this
manifest thoughts in your
conversation
mind.
is so important. I love it.
Go ahead, finish up, Mike.
Do you want to read that from Christopher Peebles?
And all thought and experience is public domain and can be had by anyone. It is non-local until perceived by the observer, whereupon it condenses localized specificity. Or yeah,
Well,
the gist of it. So right, dude. And that's what shamanism taught me. Guys, you are all capable to do this. I'm going to give you the exact steps right now. Focus your mind and your heart. Create heart-brain coherence. That activates what's called the Markuba, your light body. When you have that experience, you're going to see a triangle come out like this, and then a triangle come out like this. This one spins clockwise. This one spins counterclockwise. They create a vortex or a torus field around our entire body, 9 foot by 9 foot. You do that, you are able to channel and communicate with any known consciousness and travel anywhere. It's a very powerful thing. And it's so fun. I love doing it.
Yes. And for those who want to make it really simple for themselves, learn to center and ground and never force your third eye open. Never, ever force your third eye open, because it will open when the gods see that it is ready. It is time for you to see through the veil.
And if you don't have your lower 3 chakras balanced, that's going to create a lot of turmoil in you. And that conflict and turmoil is going to create a lot of distractions that keep you from being able to supply this thing with enough energy to open it.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I've gone to a lot of public events, but we went to this adult only event during Beltane, and everybody was running around skyclad. In case people don't know what that means, skyclad equals nudity. Well, anyway, we was there, and me and Chrissy was doing a ritual. By the time that I was done with this public rite, I could feel my third eye just swimming around underneath the skin of my forehead, just back and forth, just going nuts. And I'll tell you what, that's an experience in itself. Not having your third eye open, but legitimately you feel your third eye moving.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
When
Drew says from Scottish Feed Log says, full panel of inspirational people. You're all inspiring me to get back to doing what I love and think and supporting streams. Yeah. Thank you for that. Well, that's the whole point, actually. That's what we seek to do: inspire people to become activists, activate themselves, and activate those around them by like waking them up from their slumber, by planting seeds, words of power. That's what we do.
Hey, Drew, this is an old priest.
We are gardeners. We are plant the seed.
Tried to hide
like gardeners
from the public view. Literally, I've
What's
tried
that
to
saying?
hide.
It's better to be a warrior in the garden than a gardener in a
That's absolutely.
I'm glad that we are inspiring people to hear a message. Goddess is with us. Our gods are with us, whether it be Christ, Yahweh, Jehovah, however, what aspect that you see your God, know that they are there. And always remember, heaven, the other world is a breath away from you, a molecule away from your skin. You're walking within it. And try not to deny it, accept it. All good deeds, all bad deeds are seen.
So, Mike, do you have any deities that you're actually following? Any demigods? Any gods? Goddesses?
I work more with the primordial forces than deities themselves. I have in the past. I followed Thoth and the Egyptian pantheon as well as the Celtic pantheon for a very long time.
Oh,
But
right, okay.
currently now I am working more with Pythagoras, or not Pythagoras, Prometheus, and the
Yeah.
Titan. And that's another cool thing in human design, guys. It tells you who your Godhead is. So when we look at the deities as archetypes of energy, they all play out specific roles in our life experience. And our human design chart breaks those down for us and tells us the specific deity that is kind of like at the head, the whole theme, or the main theme, the background of our life. For me, that's Prometheus. And his story is that he was neither a titan nor a god. He was the son of a titan. And his main thing, the feeling that he carried all of his life, was not really feeling like he ever fit in anywhere. And that has been something that I've carried with my whole life. And now knowing that story, I know how to work with that. And I know how to understand that type of energy that is around me that I can consciously utilize more efficiently. I think I did yours too, didn't I, Bradley?
You did, yeah. What's it actually called? What the procedure? What has it got a name that you actually
The Godhead.
the Godhead?
Yep.
And you can perform Godhead readings to anybody who messages you, inboxes you, or comments on your profile. And Mike Perry will give you a Godhead reading to give you an idea of the deities that may be following you or have their eyes on you.
All I need, guys, is your birth date, your birth time, and birth location. It's really amazing. It tells us so much. And Chris, man, send me your info. I'll do one for you too.
I'm not too sure of my birth time.
That's okay. Just send me what you got, and I got my program will give me a calculator so I can calculate your time.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. I'm kind of interested.
They're super awesome.
Is the great Diana actually my godhead?
Oh, mine. When I looked at mine, because it also breaks down the Christ consciousness field. So when we're talking about the Christ consciousness, there's a super cool tip, guys. Take your hand and go like this. Spread your fingers apart. Now, wave it really fast like this. No, hold your thumb.
I love it. Okay, I got this in mind.
Hold your thumb. Let me know when your hand feels wet.
Okay.
You just put your hand physically through the ethers of the firmament. So that energy that we were just talking about that's all around us, we just physically connected to it. Now, when we do that, that gives our conscious mind something to remember. Hey, this thing's really here. It shows me that there's proof or evidence of it. I can now consciously connect to that whenever I want to. That field is God. That is supports life. That's what everything gets its energy from. And that's how we exchange energy. We're exchanging energy in this conversation through that field. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine those that are watching though. They're probably looking at us like, what? And they're trying this. Then all of a sudden they're going, hey.
Oh, shit. I taught that little technique on my TikTok before I got kicked out of it. And man, that one video blew up so fast. I loved it. It was so fun.
What, that video showing what you just did got banned?
No, my whole account did. It was after I was
really?
having some very deep conversations with people about bringing in free energy, how we could power our homes with.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
And a little bit after that, my account wouldn't let me log in anymore, and then I got frustrated with it and deleted it and never reinstalled it before they did the ban.
Wow, that's pretty sad.
Yeah, I think I had around 1,000 on it, or getting there anyway. But oh well, move on to something new. But
from destruction, creation is born.
Exactly. Yep. That's one of the concepts too that I found really prevalent in shamanism is moving to the observer instead of the person that's actually actively in the story. When we learn how to observe the experience instead of emotionally identify as it, we're able to move more fluidly through that experience.
Yeah.
And that's why stories are important, because all that experience is just the story we're telling ourselves.
I agree with that. So, Mike, since you've been following your path, you're in a way sort of like me. Do you feel more in your skin, like you are who you're right now? You feel like you are.
Yes.
Was it immediate for you? After you had that experience with the goddess.
hmm I immediately embodied it and told all my friends, this is what I'm doing, and my family. And I embody much more of that energy. And the thing that struck me the most is this simple thing. After we were all said and done with our conversation, I have no idea how long I was there. It could have been hours or minutes. But she left me with this. She said, "Behold, I am the mother to all. All acts of love are my rituals." And that has always stuck with me and stuck out in the fact that whatever action I take, I always want it to come from a place of true unconditional love. And
I agree with that.
letting go of our judgments and expectations. Like when I interact, like even right now, I just love having this conversation. It gives me a ton of energy. It's fun. It's enlightening. It's inspirational. Those are all the things that I love.
Yeah, yeah. It's very touching to me. To talk about the goddess on a personal sense, because in a lot of ways we're letting people see how we practice in our solitary life. Like for me, being in the public eye here in Iowa, Iowa taught me for me to be, how to behave, how to act. You know, in other words, they was the hand of the goddess who shook me once in a while and said, Thunder, don't do that.
We need you to pay attention
Yeah,
over here.
yeah,
And that was one of the things my first shamanic mentor taught me. Is, for a long time, I would beat myself up, especially when I was studying black magic. I did a lot of things that were detrimental to other people, and learning and studying it didn't really mean to. But he's like, you didn't do it with an ill intention. You did it to learn, and it just so happened that you learned a very invaluable lesson. So you were learning how to use your gifts. There's
yeah,
nothing. There's no karma. There's no debt that you owed because of that. In fact, the more that you are able to embody that and share that with others is the very thing that you are sent to do. So you are
yeah,
fulfilling your contract, not making karma.
yeah. I find that a lot of practitioners, they think just because somebody beats their ears really bad, with lip, not really doing any harm, they're going to rush home, do this bad spell upon them, and think that there's not going to be no consequence. There's a difference between justified magic when you're doing baneful magic, what I call justified baneful magic, versus, hey, this guy really gave me a hard time. I'm going to show him. We have to realize that there is a karmic debt. There is a debt. You know, law of attraction. You do bad, you're going to get bad. Believe me, I know.
And that made me realize this when we're talking about karma, we're just talking about an energetic debt that is feels owed to something.
Yeah,
And having experiences like that when I was younger, when I got older, I used that knowledge to help break curses. That's how I learned how to break them, by casting them.
yeah.
And once I did that, once I broke my first curse, I'm like, oh, that's what he was talking about. I had to learn how to do it, so I knew how to break it.
I remember a couple of times doing magic, to get back. Was it justified? I think so. But the outcome was more powerful than what I thought it was actually going to be. You start wielding magic. Sometimes our emotions, man, really pack a punch, when we're doing magic. So I want everybody, who sees this video to realize that sometimes it's just not a good idea. Oh, wow. Drew's got another one up. I
Yeah.
feel that it's time for everyone who has knowledge to link up and get serious about supporting the people that's wanting to learn balance, but just don't know how. Timing is running out. I agree, Drew. I agree 100%.
I thank you, Drew, for bringing that up. And guys, this would be an excellent place. I have a library of over 2,000, probably 3,000 esoteric books. What I've been doing is putting them through Chat GPT and drawing out, making like a Cliff Notes version, because some of them are very deep and very long. If anyone would like to help me with that process, I would greatly appreciate it. In return, you can have access to the whole library. But the ultimate goal is I want to put this in like a group or a website and where everyone can come and study and learn together. I think it would be great fun.
Yeah, we need to have you back quite like once a month, really, Mike. To be honest. Yeah, like yeah, you are. We need to promote you a little bit more. Yeah, you are a channel worth looking into and subscribing. Yeah, subscribe, subscribe and share the show if you can. And yeah, Mike. Is any introduction, you can click on Mike Perry's name, and that'll take you straight to his account and go to it in Messenger or on inbox or comment him on his profile.
Okay.
Yeah, Mike, you are very enlightened, very enlightened. I appreciate the time that we've spent together, these past couple of times, and I want people to see you because you do have a great message to bring to people and you have wisdom to back it. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for sharing with us. You're really knowledgeable.
We're at the top of the hour now, and it's been good to have you with us. But you're welcome to continue asking. Christopher, you got any more questions?
What do you want to talk about? There's much to cover.
There is
so much, so little.
Back in a month.
Mike, can you comment?
Absolutely, Drew.
Yeah.
So can everybody see my chats if I put it in the chat box?
I'm having trouble seeing the chats myself. Facebook are not giving me access to the chats in the I've got it in here in StreamYard, that's all. I haven't got access to the chats on my profile at all or any other place.
Comments.
Well, that's what I mean, because I can see it says chat with everyone. It just says chat with everyone in the studio. I need to read the whole thing. But happily, Drew. But one of the things, guys, that I love talking about is energy. You guys anyone wants to talk about energy? I'm your new best friend.
Let's go for it. You want to talk about it? Yeah. I'm down.
Leo Hasuchi says, listen to the man in orange. He's speaking the truth.
Thank you, Leo.
That must be you, Mike, because you're the only one in orange.
Oh, no, energy itself is the original story. Like, that's what fascinates me so much when studying the stories and the mythology. Every single one of them is designed to explain how energy works. Fast forward until now, we have quantum physics and the instruments scientifically to say, yeah, there really is something here. And like science and spirituality are the same, two sides of the same coin. What would you guys say to that?
Like yin and yang, two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
In studying for my radiology for school, we talk about potential and kinetic energy. Potential is intuitive, is the goddess. Kinetic is the motive, is the force, the god. As the blade is to the chalice, so the chalice is to the blade. When we combine those two together, we create. And guys, this is a year of the snake. Snake is all about creation. It's the energy, the atmosphere is amped up. What can we create with this?
Last year was the year of the dragon. What did we create in the year of the dragon?
More of the same.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
So what's
well, we got Trump in the picture. We don't really talk about politics, but we've got Trump leading the way, leading America to liberty and freedom and power.
How do you guys in the UK feel about that? What is your honest opinion? What's your thoughts?
Well, we believe Trump is a businessman. Trump is both good for America and he's bad for America too. He is both. The right wing and the left wing are both connected to the same bird, so it doesn't really matter who wins. But like, I believe, if I'm right to say this, that Trump and Putin are the only two world stage players who are not Freemasons and Illuminati. They are, they are their own entity on the world stage. They're not connected like all the others are.
Thank you, because I was looking for confirmation for that myself, because I got that intuitive knowing, because I don't necessarily like Trump's antics, but I do like what he's doing for us. And that,
Like Trump exposed paedophilia, Epstein Island. The other presidents could have done this, but it's been going on for millennia, isn't it? Really? Yeah, Hollywood and all this paedophilia, Epstein Islands. Prince Andrew got his fingers burnt in the pictures of him with a 15-year-old girl, like, you know, oh, they all went on top. But like, yeah, Trump has done a lot, and like, you can't just. It's good. You're not going to get the perfect president, are you? To be honest with you.
I don't think perfection really exists. It's a continual state of evolution.
Trump is a businessman, a billionaire businessman, and like he will run America like a business, you know.
And that's what.
And like, and compared to like, I'm not being like political, but Biden. I mean, how you know he's how did he even qualify to become president in the first place? You know, with money or talks.
Right. I'm not trying to be politically, but you make a great freaking point right there.
He was like he didn't know when he done speeches. He didn't know even what city he was in. He used to get that wrong. He didn't know what city he was in half the time. You know, like amnesia. I mean, a president with amnesia. I mean, America don't need it. You know.
No.
So who you got really? Who you got? You got Trump. Well, Trump's having another go, isn't he? Like, you know, and like it is what it is.
For a while
you know
there,
I mean? We haven't chose our prime minister. And like somewhere, where did our prime minister come from? Apparently, our prime minister has got ties with the Communist Party. You know what I mean? When in his younger days, she reckons he's severed from, but like that's debatable, isn't it? Do you ever, if you're a member of the Communist Party, do you ever leave? You know, especially when you're in power.
Just like the Illuminati, once you're in, you don't ever get out.
Yeah, so like, you know, that begs the question, right?
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
And like right there, guys, so collectively that group of people make up a certain type of energy. And then collectively we have, you know, the opposite to make up a certain type of energy. And as those two energies move around, they create either heaven on earth or hell on earth. And as more people are able to shift their focus from the fear mongering, from the propaganda, from all the bullshit, you can put that focus anywhere you want, because you yourself are a sovereign being. It's your divine birthright. Everyone is. We get to choose. We have the free will to choose whether or not the things that we give our energy to are detrimental or beneficial. And that's the most important thing I think anyone can learn, regardless of whatever path that we follow. And I love the fact that energy has the paths to follow. When we look at like the nadis, the energy channels in our body, they all correlate to different paths. They all correlate to different deities. Like, for example, Isis, for example, correlates to her upper lung. She was the goddess of magic. Magic needs expression. So she was the goddess of expression, the god of thought, writing, expression. So the energy of this area is very powerful to express with. And we can express whatever we want. We can express support for the left, the right, or we can walk the middle path. It's quite fascinating. I know that was a lot right in the middle or all together there. But energy itself, guys, what can we use it to create with?
Energy is the currency of the universe, the cosmos. We can see the universe, the moon, the stars, the sun. We can see the planets. We can see the universe. We can't see the cosmos, and the cosmos is where all the frequencies and the paths are. We can't see. The God frequency lies there. Dragon current, all kinds of electromagnetic frequencies full of energy that we can tune into, you know.
Beautifully
And
said.
I think God is a frequency you tune into as well, you know.
Absolutely. The Robert Steiner, I think that was his name. He was an occultist, and I said occultist, guys. That word simply means hidden knowledge.
Yeah,
That studied frequencies back in the 14th, 1500s, and his paintings are symbols of how that energy is perceived. So, when going into a trance state and being able to intuitively find an energy, you find the pattern. It's like when I first discovered my guide as a tiger, and I walked up to this energy, before I could see the tiger, I felt the shape of it like a giant cat. And then as I tuned into that shape became more clear, and the design that presented itself to me was a tiger.
yeah,
And we can use our intuitive knowing to help us understand the shapes. That's why symbolism, the study of symbols, is one of the highest forms of magic.
yeah. Signs, sigils, and symbols is the language of the gods, and like ideal for magic. Sigils can connect you like a key to spiritual entities. Having a sigil alone, really quite powerful. Yeah, signs, sigils, and symbols, language of the gods.
I find that it's easier for me to center and ground and then let the energy start flowing through me. It's like I'm being baptized with that energy. It just encapsulates my body, my hand, and then I use my hand to cast. That's how I use my magic. I'm
Catch you
very
later.
much.
Sorry, man.
You don't want any of that. Oh, wait, I got more of those chips.
Okay. Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. One of my buddies swung by.
It's fine. It's fine.
Excuse me. But yeah, and I'm curious, Chris, when you feel that energy like bathe at you, do you notice any symbols, or like do you feel any shapes moving through your body?
It's just the energy, and it's paved my path for me. It's always made that connection with God and Goddess. It's always set me between the worlds. It's like my vortex, my hand just lights up like a Christmas tree. There's energy there. You can feel the power. I think for a lot of us, how can I say this? It is different. We all find our way to the goddess with different uh, different paths of how we create our sacred space.
Absolutely.
Abracadabra.
Well, abracadabra has never worked for me, but want and desire and the willingness to dare between worlds has always been workable.
No, that's so interesting. You're talking about the triangle,
Yes,
Right.
triangle manifestation.
and like every
Word of power. Yeah, you can read it backwards as well, can't you? Word of power.
And I think that's very important that people realize that, you know, your way may work for another, my way may work for another, Bradley's way may work for another. There's no true answer to finding your way into the other world or how magic works. When I do spells, how do I do it? I center and ground. Then when I'm through casting, I center and ground again. Not because I'm trying to diminish the energy, it's because I want to keep the connectivity of my energy going so that I can do my spell casting, I can do my ritual. And I find that works very well for me.
Are you a healer, Christopher?
Yeah, I've been taught by the Cabots, so I've learned a few things.
You are a shaman, Christopher, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Italian
One
shaman.
definition.
Those are my,
Amongst many things, a definition of
Chris,
shaman.
you are a healer.
I just believe in Believe in yourself. That's where the true magic comes from. It's from within yourself. It is your want and your
Yeah,
desire,
agree.
willing to what we say. We can describe consciousness endlessly because we all have a different mindset of what consciousness is. I could describe it one way, and Mike, you can sit there and go, yeah, but it's also this. And then, here comes Bradley. He can say, yeah, but look at it this way. Magic, the magic, the desire manifests from within.
Love that.
It
That's
does.
right.
It does.
That's
Created by spellings,
Yeah.
spell words.
spells.
And a lot of
Yeah.
people don't realize that when they're centering and grounding, they are doing magic. And that's where a lot of beginners find fault because they're not willing to do the work to, one, learn how to center and ground, and two, build rapport with these entities, these deities that we ourselves worship. To me, that's so important, that rapport, that building that alignment, with the four quarters, the elementals, the ancient ones. The ancient ones are many. They're just not titans that stand on top of a tower. We're not worshiping a tower, we're worshiping our ancestors through these four quarters. Let the magic just come to you naturally. Don't fight it. Just feel it. My hands getting hot because I'm grounding out. But, let the magic come freely to you. Be the shaman. Be the indigenous American whose magics are true to the word. Be the ancient shaman who set in Italy, pre-Etruscan. Be that witch. Be that shaman. Be that druid whose faith has endured through so much persecution, and it endures, and our magics are still alive. We have to look at our past to understand our present. Do you guys understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The foundations are there. We as a human race, as individuals, have to embrace who we are, what we are. We have to be willing to shed our old skin to become a new skin, a new being, for the rebirth in our spirit to happen. I think that makes sense, don't it? Yeah. I'm sorry. I got keyed up there.
No,
I
you're good.
apologize to you guys.
The exact kind of conversations I love. And you're right. Is by just being us, our authentic selves, we embody that because we create an energetic wise that creates space for others to do the same for them. And it's so important and powerful. And that's all our energy really needs to do.
Yeah.
Space.
Yeah.
I believe we're all psychic. We're all born psychic. We just don't recognize. We don't recognize ourselves, recognize who we are, what our goals or motives or anything. We're at a state of confusion when we grow up. Then we're brainwashed. Our parents think they're doing the right thing to us by guiding us and advising us with what the mainstream is.
Right?
Yeah. Drew, I see in the comments, Drew wrote something, says, yes, it's true, Thunder. For too long we were made to hide our ways. It's time to stand tall. I agree with her.
100%.
The mystery source is everybody's birthright. It's everybody's birthright. And it doesn't matter your religious affiliation.
Practice, it's not a religion.
And this is what I'm going to say to my brothers and sisters of Christ. How did Christ become Christ?
That is a great
He was the Son of God. That's why. The Son of God.
We're all Son of God. We're all made of that.
We're all sons of God. Yeah, that's a very good point. That's a very good point you make there. We're all sons of God. Yeah. Well, he was a Messiah, wasn't he?
What was that, Bradley?
He was a Messiah.
Yeah.
So, like Muhammad was a Messiah. He was a Messiah too.
In a lot of ways, we are all messiahs because we are all the only
that's a very good point
of saving ourselves. And again, human design, guys, like for me, my environment, how I'm designed to move through my environment, is called the observer. Once I observe my environment and become comfortable in it, I am then observed myself. I am designed to be a leader in that environment. So are you guys. And so is everyone watching this, guys. Whatever it is that you love and that you're passionate about, you are designed to be observed in that, doing it. And we do that much more fluidly when we allow ourselves to enjoy being us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drew from Scottish Vlog says, yeah, Bradley, I just knew I always felt different with one leg in this realm and one in the other. I felt so alone growing up. And that's where we come into it. Like we are promoting the fact that you don't have to be alone. If you have phenomenal gifts or phenomenal experiences, please come forward to us, share them, and we will connect you with people who can help you if you had trauma, and connect you, help you come to a community of like-minded people like yourself by getting in touch with us. Subscribe, like, and share the show. That's how you could help us. And your support by watching us and sharing information. Esoteric intellect. Sharing the love. That's what it's all about. No words. Just sharing the love.
Love the way you said that, dude. And you're absolutely right, man. Agree with that 100%.
The purpose of life. Why are we here? What's our purpose? The purpose of life is to seek ascension. How do we do that? How do we seek ascension? Well, there's quite a few ways you can do it. One way of seeking ascension is by helping others without expecting a reward. That's how you seek ascension. That's one way. If you are expecting a reward when you help someone, you're not seeking ascension. You are in fact doing business, and that's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So, Mike, can you hook up links in our comments so that people can connect with you? I want to make sure that's done before the show's over, because I think you have a really great message, and you're definitely wise in your ways. I see the light around you. You need to quit smoking, though.
Yeah, I know. My guys were just bitching at me this morning for that.
Mike smoking is making me want to light a fag now.
You guys are making me smoking. I'm trying to stay away from it.
Yeah, we should follow. We should give up. I agree with that.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
Mike started it.
But yeah,
it's to combat the stage fright being on the show, isn't it?
Actually, yeah, I'm very nervous because just like.
Yeah, Drew from Scottish Vlog says, yeah, please, Mike, I'd love to support your channel. Yeah. My advice is scroll through the comments and get in touch with the people that are messaging.
Hold on.
Hello, Debbie.
Scott A said, I helped an older couple cross over with the help of Christina, who's a good friend of mine. Christina. Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, I think that, for me, all my adult life within the pagan community is to bring people who have a voice, a true voice of spirituality, so that people can see and touch and know that these people are real, and that they can see the magic and that they can feel the magic. And Mike, I think that you're one of those people, and I feel really honored to talk to you, that you would take time out for us just to talk to us. And I appreciate that. And I want you to know that. That's heartfelt.
That is much love here, man, and much appreciated. Reflected back at both of you. You both hold incredible wisdom within yourselves, and I enjoy our conversations. And I'm so glad that you guys are open to have this space to record this and share this, because your messages are just as important.
Well, you know what? Bradley drugged me out in the mothballs. Seriously.
Yeah, I know. I guess where I found Christopher, hiding under a stone.
He did. He did.
He was under a stone, seriously. I lifted the stone and there was Christopher.
He said, you're not hiding. You're not hiding.
Yeah, there's so much work to be done. We're on a people's quest. Wake up, Christopher. We're on a people's quest, and yeah, and he rose to the challenge. Admittedly,
You know, when I talk to people, sometimes I feel like knowledge-wise, I'm not quite there, but spiritually, I just soar upon the wind when these people talk, these authors and stuff like that. You know, and I have been trained. You know, I'm very lucky. I've had Raven Grimasi teach his classes. You know, and Scott Cat. You know, with her simple lessons and the influence of the Cavets. You know, I've been very blessed. You know, Amber Kay, all these people has been a big influence within my life.
I love Amber Kay.
Diabolical Debbie says you guys are like family to me. Thank you for sharing. That's very kind.
Yes, thank you, Debbie.
Very kind of them.
Drew from Scottish Vlog says what?
You are all so knowledgeable, and people need to hear this stuff. There's so many wanting to embrace their spirituality, but don't know where to start. Thank you, Drew.
Yeah, thank you, Drew.
You are correct.
You know where to start? Ask the goddess directly. Just voice it out. Scream it out. I want the goddess within my life. It's no different than Christ. It's no different than God. You know, if you ask them into your life, they will come into your life.
And one of the things with that is when you do ask deities to come into your life, they don't take bullshit. They don't take excuses.
No,
if you want to do something with you or for you, you are going to have to do something in return. You're going to have to do the work. They will work through you. They don't do it for you. That's the thing that led me to paganism. After I grew up, what is the Christian sect? Baptist. And I hated it because it always made me feel small and made me feel like I was wrong. It wasn't until I got to paganism where I realized there was gods that didn't ask you to grovel at their feet, but to stand up and walk with them.
Yeah.
They could teach you.
That's how I feel. You know, for me growing up within the Catholic Church and, you know, going to evangelical church and a Southern Baptist church, I found myself crying a lot because I never felt worthy. Goddess tells me I am worthy. And I think that's very important for people to realize that they are relevant. They are very relevant to the divine light that God and Goddess has not forgotten you. They're just waiting for you to ask them, call to them, hear them upon the wind. I say that to a lot of students. Hear it upon the wind. Hear them. Let yourself hear them. And they will guide you. They will show you a beautiful path. I have lived a very, very blessed, magical adult life. I wish I would have learned this when I was a child. It has made that much of a difference in my life.
It has mine too. And growing up, like I felt super alone, and it would be nature that I'd go find solace in. Anytime that I ever went to church, I hated it. I never felt comfortable there. The moment I stepped foot in the woods, my shoes and socks came off, and I was at home.
Yeah. Yeah, the forest is my cathedral.
Yeah.
You know where my cathedral is? Wherever I can cast a circle and people will listen. And they will join in worship with me. That's where my temple is.
That's beautifully stated, man.
It is, because
do you have any stone circles in America?
Yeah, there's one out in New Hampshire, I do believe. Isn't that New Hampshire? Was supposed to meet Raven and them there at that.
This is a replica of Stonehenge.
No.
Oh.
I'm talking about that ancient stone formation.
It's New Hampshire Stonehenge, yeah.
Yeah, New Hampshire Stonehenge.
And there's one in Missouri,
if people get a chance to go out there and look at it, it is quite fascinating. It is very fascinating.
I think it's in Salem.
Then they have a replica down in Missouri someplace of Stonehenge. Yeah,
wow.
Roll of Missouri. Chrissy's sitting there whispering, roll it.
Well, a replica of Stonehenge.
Yeah, Yeah. And you know what's really fascinating about that? When
What's
when
that?
they when they opened it up to the public, these people were doing this opening ceremony, and these druids, these actual druids, came in and blessed that circle.
Yeah.
And I thought
Wow.
that was phenomenal. They actually thought it was part of the, the opening, but actually it was these druids coming in and actually blessing it and making it an alignment, which is really fascinating.
That is.
God bless those people, seriously.
And we found one here in Michigan 3 years ago. It's at the bottom of one of the lakes. It was a scuba diver found it. And
Really?
looking very forward, a friend of mine that I went to school with is a master scuba diver. So I'm hoping to be able to connect with him and maybe go check it out. That would be absolutely wonderful to be able to go see that.
Yeah, it would be. Hey, Pike, your channel got up there. Yay!
Rock on. Bradley, man, I'm curious, have you ever got to go to Stonehenge or visit any of the stone structures?
I have visited the Tor Abbey. Tor means highest point of the land. Tor Abbey stands up high on a hill looking down on Stonehenge. Also, Tor is not just that, it looks down on Stonehenge. It also looks down on the island of Avalon as well. The Isle of Avalon. Which was surrounded by water, admittedly, and the water's all gone now, so like it's not so much an island anymore. However, I believe the Isle of Avalon still exists to this day. However, in a different dimension, not in this dimension. So it's pretty active. Avalon is pretty active, I would say, with inhabitants. However, which could be the Fae, dragons, all sorts, elementals.
Hey,
However, it's
hey, come on.
not in this realm.
That is fascinating, man. And that goes a lot, that really ties into what we had a new phenomena last night when we were talking about the Fae. And
Yeah.
guys, there is I can't pronounce the name of the book, but there is a book that describes how all of us existed together at one point in time. And because of the path that humanity was going on, we were going through a very big ego. The other entities decided to create a separate space for them because we were having such a big influence on them and bringing their nature down. And basically, they were becoming more human and succumbing to their anger and their frustration. And they didn't want that. So they created their own space where they could exist in their own peace until we reached a point in our own evolution where we could control and integrate the ego, which is a very important concept in shamanism.
And what would that place be? Avalon?
Yeah, Avalon, the Shire, all of any, even Atlantis still exists as another interdimensional state where beings can and work on things and get information. And being able to travel or an astral project, you can put yourself in the state that allows you access to those places where you can do work that is not bound by the same physical laws that is here. I've done a lot of work in different astral temples throughout a lot of different places. It's very fascinating. It's very
Now,
fun.
when me and
You
Christy
asked me about Stonehenge.
when me and Christy first came to our spiritual path, we met a guy who was so amazing. His name was Avalon, and his family is direct descendants to the Morgan Le Fay family over there. And he says that he can approach Stonehenge anytime, even if it's closed. It's his inherited birthright, to be able to go there anytime he wants. And I find that quite amazing. But he was a really wise man. He guided me and Chrissy. He told me when to stand down, with it, not to create a disruption within the circle. In other words, surrender my rights as a teacher to Chrissy so that she could benefit and have the respect of the circle. And I think you all can figure that out. My ego needed to be deflated a little bit, and he was trying to guide me to saying, hey, the priestess rules, you don't, because I spent a lot of time, studying and learning and writing things down and putting ABC together, and I had to learn, through my spiritual path that, you know, let go of the ego.
Absolutely.
And he was very wise in that. It aggravated me at first, but after I sat there and pondered upon it, it was like, yeah, he's right. The priestess does rule.
Lucifer says one should embrace the ego but not become it. I know that's very easier said than done, but if you can master the art of embracing your ego but not becoming it, if you can embrace that art,
Yeah,
and follow Lucifer's advice.
Love
Because
that.
our ego, I mean, it's not saying kill your ego, it's saying like contain it. Because your
yeah,
ego can be a lifesaver, couldn't it? Couldn't it? Ego is like confidence as well,
Right.
as well
I
as
think that
it can be
actually,
good and bad.
that's a great topic because I think that gets a really bad rap and a lot of misunderstanding in the spiritual community. Because in a lot of the earlier texts in shamanism, they talk about ego death. Guys, it's
Yeah,
not death. You don't kill it, you integrate it, you learn how to use it. And
yeah,
in that
that's right.
integration, your not self or your unconsciousness is not running the show. And you're not just walking through life blind. You're awake, your eyes are open because you need your ego and your being, your inner and your outer, to work together.
Like we are working together because none of us have ego. I don't really dance with egos, to be honest with you. But I don't dance well with egos, shall we say? I meet a lot of egos. I can't help it. I meet egos every day. You know, you got to dance with people who've got an ego. You got to dance with it. You know.
And I think that's very important too, because there's a lot of people that in the spiritual area or sect, that have I don't have an ego. Well, yes, you do. If you didn't have one, you wouldn't be able to function. And the fact that you don't
Your
think you have
ego
one,
is judgmental. Ego is judgmental, isn't it? It's opinionated, and there's nothing wrong with being opinionated. You shouldn't really be judgmental. We should look at your own reflection before you judge others anyway,
right?
really.
That's exactly the whole point. If whatever
That's
we
what's good about television, isn't it? You can point the finger, like who here you hate. You can point the finger at all the people you hate. Stick them on an island. That's what we should do. Stick them all on an island. All the unsavouries, let's stick them all on an island. That's what my dad used to say. I was thinking, put my dad there with him, like that'd be good.
yeah.
Um,
I had to learn to lose my ego, my self righteousness into my path. I used to think that it took another witch to make a witch.
yeah,
But, but this was a question that one of my students asked me. Well, then, where did the first witch come from? Lesson learned, where did the first witch come from?
as a shaman, you probably recognise heaven and hell is real. They do exist. It's different for everyone. If you're religious, you may go to heaven or hell if you believe in it. Whatever you believe in is where you would go. Like if you are a druid, even a Wiccan, you might find that you're gonna go to the netherworld or the other world, instead of heaven and hell. It depends on everyone's beliefs, really, of like
Yeah.
where you could end up. Purgatory
Well,
is real as well, and you could
Bradley,
end up there.
speaking of hell, this is what Christ was actually trying to teach in the temple. In Jerusalem, in the temple, you're not allowed to throw your trash down in it. So they would throw it over the wall outside of the temple. And when Christ was preaching, he would sit there and say, why take your soul, your spirit, and throw it to the trash heap? Okay, that's what he was actually making a translation to. And as far as hell, it's called a place called Tartarus, which Hades stands guard of. So, if we really look at it, he was speaking the truth. Why take your spirit and waste it upon nonsense? Take your spirit and transcend. Ascension is important. Just like Christ, when he died on the cross, He ascended from the cross to heaven. That is the way most mankind sees it. Why take our spirit and throw it to the trash heap? Why let it go to waste? We sit here and we talk about spirituality, but a lot of times we speak all this magic stuff, but we miss the main point. Put yourself within the cauldron. The cauldron is the center and manifestation of transformation. We take our spirit, we throw it into it. We let the goddess take us, and she'll beat the holy crumbs out of us until we get rid of all that negativity, until we become that which is holy and divine. And that's what Christ was making a reference to. Why take your spirit and throw it to the trash heap?
Yeah.
And hopefully I'm
Yeah,
right on
right.
that situation, but that is the way that I have learned it. Is why take your spirit and sit there and speak all the spirituality, but you don't live it.
That's
Live.
right. A lot of people are good at helping others, but they can't help themselves,
Yeah.
And some
To
people
me,
need to be told, you need to be told. You need to hear good things about yourself and be told, offer advice and guidance from people around you, your loved ones. You listen to
now,
their advice and guidance.
it was really strange though, Bradley, and me saying that, how many people is going to sit there and look and say, this witch is crazy? Because it's the point. It's an easy way for me to convey to people saying, why are you not following your path? Why do you follow a path that you don't make it living? Make it living. Be that energy. Let it make a
Yeah,
difference in your life. I think
that's
that's
right.
really,
You've got a lot of life. You've still got life in you. You've still got life in you, And like you
yeah,
can do a lot with that life. The
Yeah.
life is
yeah,
a gift from God. From
And
some people, here on earth is heaven. For some people, we've been here on earth is hell. It's different for everyone.
yeah.
I've been cursed and I've been blessed. So, like, I can speak from both sides. I've been cursed and blessed. I've had
But
a roller coaster ride,
right.
and
now, I
like,
don't
yeah,
mean to
life.
offend anybody saying that, but I want people to really look at what Christ was saying. We're not
Yeah,
going to hell. If you try to make your works good in this life, you try to make a difference in this life. I do not believe that you will go to hell because I do not believe in hell. The hell that you create is what you create here on earth, not in the hereafter, because we all pass through the sun for purification. All of us do. We are a
diabolical Debbie says, I think Earth feels
Feel
like purgatory. I can
purgatory.
understand you saying that, Debbie. I
yeah,
can
I can
understand.
understand it.
In a lot
I
of
can
ways, it
understand.
does. 'Cause here's the way that I look at it is this lifetime right now, as the energy or all around us is moving much faster, creating at a much more exponential rate than it ever has before. We are now, instead of having lifetimes to deal with our learning experiences, whatever bullshit that we need to fix or let go of, I guess would be a better term. We experience all of that in one life now instead of multiples. So there is much need for us to look at our genealogy and our ancestry. Okay, what is it? What are the fundamental themes throughout my whole family line that I need to work on? For me, that was addiction, especially cigarettes.
Yeah,
Everyone in my family is either recovering or a current drug user or alcoholic.
Yeah,
yeah.
And
yeah.
seeing
For
how
me, it was
gifts
alcohol.
that can be a
Alcohol.
strange combination. Go ahead, man.
But yeah, I don't mean to offend people when I, spoke about Christ, but I think that we should make a reference to, our own spiritual life, what Christ was talking about in the Temple Mount. I think it's so important for us to see that Christ was talking about throwing our spirit into the trash. Why should we do that?
Yeah, and that go to me that really correlates to alchemy. When we let go of all of the dense negative beliefs we hold about ourselves, we allow our spirit to rise up naturally. We allow ourselves to
Yeah,
ascend.
yeah, that's the way it should be.
Yeah,
We
that's
should,
the process of what we're going through now, the
yeah,
giant collective ascension, which I
yeah,
think
I agree. You know, it, our life can be beautiful, but think about how much beautiful it's going to be when you reach the other side. You know, when we are transcending and we're becoming these magical beings of spirit. We embrace our gods and our brothers and sisters. Wow.
And
Wow.
learn to
Chiming
create
up on
with
Facebook there, buddy. You're chiming up. But,
love. Hold on.
but you know, this past few months has been so beautiful for me spiritually because Bradley's brought this Christina into my life. And it was like this magical thing, like the voice of God was just coming right at me. And I'm like, whoa, this woman is dynamite. She shines so bright and, beautiful.
Love that.
Wow.
And how can we utilize that more? How can we embody much more of that type of energy for ourselves individually and collectively? Hi, Drew. Yeah, same, Mike. Witchcraft changed my life because of addiction, and I fight it every day. I still have active users in my life. I can't give up on them or they'll give up on themselves. Thank you for that, Drew. And
Yeah.
guys, I don't have one printed out, but I will post a link in the Facebook that's called Biogeometry Paper Emitter. The symbols on this piece of paper makes it so whatever pictures inside of it puts their energy in balance. I've used it on myself and my own family with great benefits, as well as a lot of clients and friends. It's very powerful.
Well, like you're welcome to promote your services, like in the groups, like I asked you to, and like the chat rooms. I know I've got an extraterrestrial group. It's got like 148,000 members. However, the chat rooms are quite spiritual, actually.
Yeah.
I thought like we have spiritual chat rooms instead of starting up another spiritual group. We've got spiritual chat rooms. And you're
Wow.
welcome to share like your links there, yeah, because people are wanting to get in touch with you. You can get in touch with Mike Perry through Mike's Facebook account or an introduction to the show, and or you can message me or Christopher Dunham,
Yeah.
and we'll put you in touch with Mike. Okay.
Look at this, what Colleen White said. Staying true not only to who you are and staying true to your belief, you will make it through anything so you can help others do the same. Yeah, I agree with her. That's beautiful. Then you have Diabolical Debbie says, it's like discovering your whole life is a lie. You're born and indoctrinated on every level from birth, only to grow up and to unlearn everything that you start all over again. I agree with you. I agree with you, Debbie. 100%. It's true.
I had to decondition myself from a lot of teachings that were supposed to help me live a good, holy life. And that really never made, like church itself. And again, I'm not trying to dog anyone's belief, but personally, it never made any sense to me at all. I would ask the pastors these deep philosophical questions, just like we're having right now. And they were able to answer me. And in fact, many of them kind of shunned me because I made them doubt their own religion.
You know what, Mike? When I lost my hand, I was going to this minister, from my hometown and asking him to help me understand what was going on in my life. You know what I got? Crickets. Crickets. Yep. That was it. That's what the Christian church gave me. But, it's like I said, I found a goddess and she showed me a way, that I can feel in my skin and my answer would be answered. Why did this happen to me? Well, it was to transform me spiritually. Absolutely. Do I regret losing my hand? Hell no. Not mean that loudly. Heck no. It changed my life. I do not regret being one-handed at all because it made me a better person. It made me an honest person.
And you see how that alchemized it.
It was like all my addictions dropped shortly thereafter. No more drinking, no more partying until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Spending time with my family, became more prevalent. you know. And what really, really was important to me, and I didn't realize it at the time, I was meeting great people who were teaching me the path, just through conversations like we're having right now. The goddess teaches.
Always. And I found the greatest teachings I've ever had were from having conversations just like this.
Yeah, yeah. Those are the ones that stick in my mind. It's like conversations with Raven Gramasi, when he would come to Pagan Pride, we'd be talking on the sidelines, and people, don't realize the extent of the philosophical, the spiritual, and the debate about scientific, versus spirituality, and how I became more in tune that you have to have one with the other. There's no separation. It's one with the other.
Absolutely. I love that. And that would be so cool to talk to him. I bet that would be such a fun conversation.
You know what? I wish he was here. I miss that, man. I miss, the emails and, what's new, what's the new class is going to be on. I do miss all that. But what he left me was a spiritual legacy,
Brother, hell yeah. Love that.
And he did, historically, he tried to be on point. This man would go into what's that great library that we have, the Library of Congress. And he would look at Leland Garland's books, what he wrote, and, how he deciphered it and tried to rewrite it so that the modern witch could understand it, bring the truth of Herodia's teachings. I thought that was, a deep dive, but, he pulled it off.
That is very cool. I could sit in these chats all night. For me, it's all about passing on the knowledge and debating the different sideshow enlightenments. Enlightenment is different for everyone.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's Drew from Scottish Trade Logs. Thank you for that.
Thanks, Drew, for that.
Appreciate that.
We're coming to the top of the hour now, and actually, we covered it really well. Thank you for carrying the show, Christopher, again.
Oh, brother, you know what? I love you guys. I love enlightening people. I love having these conversations with people like Mike and you. It's a learning experience, because the great thing about magic and walking our path, it takes many opinions to formulate your own truth, your own opinion of who your god and goddess is, where your spiritual path stands. And I appreciate this time. I really do. Things like this I'll treasure when I'm old and feeble, It gives me memories to know that I tried to make a difference in his life. And I think that's what we're all about, is making a difference.
Absolutely. I'll treasure these till I cease to exist in this lifetime and the next.
Yeah, I truly will. But Bradley, you want to end the show?
Yeah, thank you for having us. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you for having us as your presenters. Thank you for being on the show, Mike Perry, Shaman Mike Perry. Is that anything that you'd like to say before we close the show, Mike?
Just thank you for having me, guys. I would look forward to being back. And like, comment, and subscribe, guys. And follow me on Facebook or YouTube. Yeah. Thank you so much.
We got to do this once a month now. I don't care within the cauldron or with Bradley. We inspire people. Look at these people firing up. I think that's great. We're doing our job, what the goddess wanted us to do in life. Absolutely. And I thank all these people for taking time out. But goddess bless you all. Bradley, thank you again. Love you, brother.
Thank you. I'd like to say thank you for everyone contributing towards the show, for supporting us over the years. Thank you, everyone, for your contribution. And Benny C. Trent, I believe, is broadcasting the show in a few hours' time, after hours.
Yeah.
Am I right, Chris? Christopher, do you know anything about that?
I think he does have a show tonight. I'm not too sure. Chris has got the calendar way over there, on the other side of the room. But
yeah.
o'clock.
Benny's
9
got a
o'clock.
show anyway. Watch this space because there's another show coming up in a couple of hours, which might have a subject that esoteric intellect will be the content, and
Yeah.
like you'll be able to embrace whatever is being talked about. It will all be out of the box anyway. So all what we love talking about.
Chrissy says
It's-
9 o'clock Central Time here in the United States. So if you all want to get into a good show, watch it.
That's in 1 hour's time, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. It's,
Okay, watch this space for another show in 1 hour's time with Benny C. Trent taking the helm of the ship and broadcasting his new show with special guests.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, thank you, Mike Perra, Shaman Mike Perry, for being on the show. Thank you to my co-host, Christopher Dunham, being on the show. Thank you to myself. And thank you to everyone for supporting us and for contributing to the show. Until then,
God is blessed, everyone. Love and
yeah,
light.
love and light.
guys. We'll see you later.